Right, so here we have a loaded tone module for a jazz bass. As you can see, the batteries poke out just a little bit, so I had to do some massaging of the, apologies for the one-handed filming here. I had to do a little bit of massaging of the cavity with a router bit to get the batteries to fit just under the top, but we made it happen. It all fits. And utilizing, of course, also the Nordstrand 2B and a passive tone module over here on the left, which I'll explain in just a second. So basically you have volume on top stacked over a pan control, and next in line is a passive tone knob, push-pull, right, for two different cap ranges, which is here on the tone module. And it basically got, sorry, right over here. So I got a 4.7 and a 2.2. The .022 is on the up position. That the reason I do that is it gives me a little bit of a treble cut, and more importantly kind of a mid boost when it shifts the frequency when I'm on a single pickup like the bridge. It gives me a cool little tone that I dig. Again, without being too thick or too bassy. The kicker to this one is when you crank it all the way up, it's actually going to bypass, and the bypass goes to this mid-cut module with an inductor and a couple caps. The trim pot here, 1 meg trim pot, set at 470 kilo ohms at the moment. That runs in parallel with the capacitors. The stock setup was at a .047. There's an additional .033 and a .022 that you can add by way of the trim pots, giving you the option of, in addition to the 4.7, 0.069 capacitance, a 0.8, or all three together combined for a little over 0.1. The additional 3 dips are for the inductor, which with all of these guys open, the whole inductor is run in series, and each dip successively shorts one leg closer to the origin for different amount of inductance. And then again, the trim pot, the variable resistor over here for the resistance in parallel with the capacitance to change, I believe, if I have my terminology correct, changing the Q factor of the mid cut. Sorry for the mess. And all of my handy soldering right there. On the other side, of course, the adjustability of the Nordstrand unit is right here. Get some light going on there. So the output, of course, and the doing a bad job of light. I got to fire my lighting guy. So anyway, you can see where it's adjustable there, and accessible rather, more importantly. Next in line, of course, treble control, which is a push-pull for series and parallel wiring, which bypasses the blend. And then bass control, which has the bypass for the active electronics, should your two 9 volts eventually run out on you. And then I've got a pin connector for the run to the input jack. So there you go. My electronic skills to date.